Once in a while, there's a show that is so degenerate that shocks the entire anime community for how horny and sexually stimulating it is for your free remaining brain cells. And High School DxD fits perfectly this description. The 2010s was a period where the ecchi genre was so dominant that it was the only thing you could have watched as a teenager, unless you straight up went gooning on hentai and developing an obsessive fetish for two-dimensional beings. The last decade of anime was when the ecchi genre has peaked. It was the only time where fanservice and plot actually came together to form a show where they could coexist without being harmful to the story. This golden era of the ecchi genre has formed the current generation of weebs who at the age of 10 probably knew what the fuck Boku no Pico was. High School DxD is the pinnacle of that age, and that is now a modern day classic that needs to be watched at least once in your lifetime to consider yourself as a culture weeb that has walked into the obscure path of being an anime fan. High School DxD became so popular thanks to its unique blend of characters, comedy, together with the ecchi and harem elements, and it has inspired a number of shows like The Testament of Sister New Devil, Trinity 7, or any show airing during this period which involved the red-haired girls for some fucking reason. What made this series so popular stands behind not only for how YouTube was building an army of online addicts by recommending them all of this shit on the YouTube homepage, but also for how unapologetically these shows have approached fanservice. Because as we know, if these shows are today, people would go crazy. So this tendency coming from the anime fandom brings up the question, so how the fuck did this anime even have a fanbase? Well, anime was never considered to be a popular media, and it was in a sense gatekept until 2020 COVID times hit, and it started spreading to casual audiences because of TikTok and other social medias. At the same time, the popularity of the genre shows did not keep up with this trend, and people like the average Demon Slayer lover eventually realized,
wait, this is also anime? Ew, what the fuck is this shit?
yes, this is also anime. High School DxD can be considered as one of the generational show for its uniqueness in representing this particular character, which today will be instantly cancelled. And I am talking about Issei. Issei is the type girls would never like to encounter. He is the demon lord of boobies, the reincarnation of human male carnal desires, and in a sense considered as the horniest dude anime has ever seen. Issei's actions have always been questionable throughout the series, but to be fair, the fact that the 2010s was infested of characters of this kind somehow justifies the decision of giving those traits. However, Issei stands out from the crowd as he is even worse or better than everyone else, because without him, High School DxD's popularity in the ecchi genre will be ceased from happening. Even though, the story of DxD isn't that mind-blowing because, it's just a guy who's stalking girls in lockers, then a girl fell in love with him and killed him, and another girl then reincarnated him, and then he joined this looking-ass club, and then they started disrupting society by beating up angels because angels in anime are evil, and then
I can suck on them titties.
You can.
Issei's average look of a high school student is seen as very relatable to the average teenager. Not only because of his perverted way of thinking, but also for how fucking hilarious he comes out of situations by exploring his power as a sexual maniac. He is continuously striving for his objective of building a harem, and he doesn't fear of being judged by anyone. He's always being himself, and nothing is able to bend him when it comes to protecting the boobs of Rios Grammary.
Bro, what is blood even saying?
Divides it, meaning Rios Grammari's bust line will also become half its original size.
Okay, sure, dude.
Her boobs, half their size. I don't want to live in a world where Rios has a normal rack. They're such wonderful things.
Okay.
I love them. I've never loved anything more. Boobies.
This is probably why people think anime is weird. Go suck on the titties!
I think we'll never see someone like him again, both in a good and bad way. Cause the anime community has, in a sense, grown up from being this degenerate, but at the same time, part of the community feels like the ecchi genre has been lacking for quite a while, even though something as good as gushing over magical girls has released. But we need something more stimulating, something that feels nostalgic, something that... Alright, I'ma be real, it gotta be the fault of the normies, right? Right. Guys, hear me out! Issei is a very controversial character for obvious reasons. His ignorant, self-centered, and boobs-obsessed personality is what makes him so easily hateable. His extreme perversion undermines any potential for character development, reducing him to just being a one-dimensional person rather than a compelling protagonist striving for a motivation that will actually make sense. But my question to these critics is, how can you take this anime seriously?
Kids, I have a plan. While I
What?
There are a lot of instances where this guy gets stronger the hornier he gets. For example, there was this scene where he was in the middle of a fight and suddenly he discovers a way to get into his ultimate form by poking Rhea's nipples. And this ain't even the only time where this thing is happening. I will even say every power up he gets is because he pokes a new pair of bonkers. And he does that to the point where he even learns an ability where he can strip the clothes of any girl by simply looking at them. I mean, seriously, why should this series make sense when even the author of the light novel allegedly said he wanted to create something embarrassing to buy? This anime was basically destined to be batshit insane right from the beginning, and it shouldn't be taken seriously and be criticized like you would do with any other normal anime, I guess. But you know, it's fine if you can't bear this kind of stuff. You're a normal functioning being of society. You're simply confirming again that you are a normie. But that is fine as long as you don't go all out of your way to annoy the motherfuckers who like watching this shit, aka myself. Something that every Dixie fan remembers clearly is how people used to have beefs over who's the best girl, whether it was in a forum, on Reddit, or any other place on the internet. People literally lifted the wrinkly ass chicks off their chair just to start arguing with some random dudes on the internet about PNGs, typing shit like, Rias is better because she got bigger boobs.
Actually, no, Wakano has bigger ones.
Koneko's better because she's a Lolita cat girl. I like men. So this raises another question. Guys, like, who's best girl in High School Dixie?
High School DX what?
Bro, who the fuck watches that shit?
Gasper?
Rias is a character I have mixed feelings about. She is definitely very interesting in some ways, because while she's portrayed with a very mature and noble personality that is also a powerful and dependable leader, sometimes she is shown to be both very dominating and vulnerable. This character trait isn't inherently a bad thing. However, there is this one time I came back from school to watch anime, which was the biggest mistake of my life. I would sit down, open the PC, put on some headphones, because you cannot watch this fucking anime without them, close the door so that I can have enough time to alt tab, and then when I played one episode, this shit went, oh my god, are those a pair of titties? And then I got caught by my parents. Akena's my favorite among all of them. She's not only your big sister type of girl, but she's someone who truly cares about you. In the stories, she's shown to be very scared of being judged by people for being a half-blooded fallen angel, which caused her to be very hateful towards men and fallen angels. But one time, Issei, our great hero, the saint of all saints, said that racism is bad, and with only that, she fell in love with him. And from that time on, she began showing on his pants every morning when the boner was kicking in. And that was a big problem because every time she did that, I was scared of someone suddenly coming to my room while my screen was filled of two-dimensional female milkers. Koneko is a nice cat girl, and everyone loves cat girls, right? But why do we like cats? Cats have always been around humans since the agricultural revolution 10,000 years ago. Every civilization has always worshipped the existence of cats, from ancient Egypt divine associations to Greece and the Roman Empire, and in the Renaissance with Leonardo da Vinci. Cats have always carried divine energy in them that consistently capture human imagination. So what does this have to do with the video? Well, cats have now become jaking material for human beings. Koneko is the only girl in Issei's harem that doesn't have the breast size of an inflatable balloon. Her tsundere nature is what makes her stand out in the beginning, as she acts really cold towards Issei because of his perverted mind, but later on even Koneko fell in love with our charming Oppai Red Dragon Double Nut Blaster, as she slowly began acting sweet and being clingy towards Issei. Now, I'm not going to talk about the other girls because this video is already boring as fuck, but I'm sorry for all the fans of Asian, wherever the name is, of all the other girls, but they simply did not stand out to me, and yeah, they just suck. Aside from all the horny characters like Issei who's rambling about the most random shit imaginable about titties all the time, or how the girls appear naked at the start of every episode, we've gotta admit that this show was so fucking entertaining in terms of pure fun, because not many anime can make the jokes feel this original. And besides that, the story of High School DxD was going to a very interesting direction that not many harem shows would even remotely think of approaching. But that is exactly why High School DxD just it's different. The way High School DxD uses ecchi goes to a completely different direction compared to any show from its same genre, where the ecchi elements are not overdone to the point it directly affects the story, but more like on its comedic timing. Although it definitely feels like a generic show in the first episodes, High School DxD is able to unlock itself from being judged negatively by an outsider perspective, and evolve into a weird but compelling story capable of conveying emotions to its audience. Yes, Issei might be acting like a retarded professional sexual harasser who fights female opponents by using an ability that strips their clothes to make them embarrassed into then blasting them out, which... oh god, how can I defend this guy? In spite of his deliberate degenerate persona, Issei still evolved as a character and cared deeply for his loved ones. And as superficial as the relationships might seem, appearing mundane and driven by mere physical attraction, all the characters had a massive growth as the plot kept going, and the bonds they formed have gotten significantly stronger, becoming more genuine and wholehearted. High School DxD primarily focused not only on his characters but on the action. Every episode was packed with fight scenes between the various factions, which featured some of the weirdest and unhinged enemies, all fighting within a system inspired by the rules of chess pieces. It wasn't just thrilling and edgy to watch how Issei would creatively outmaneuver his opponents, but every episode was fascinating to see what was really going to happen. Right from episode 1, Issei was effectively a victim, even though he was indeed an ignorant, perverted student in the middle of his puberty. If you think about it from a broader perspective, he was just any teenager that was being taken advantage by this girl who has effectively left a scar on him. And Ria saved him by giving him a new life, where he slowly went from being at the lowest position to be one of the most powerful beings in the world. Just like a pawn who at the end of the journey becomes the strongest chess piece. It was exciting seeing his power-ups and the way he climbed the ranks to grow stronger, just as how his harem has also evolved over time. And episode by episode, Issei has changed for the better, where he is now always determined to fight and defend with perseverance his own harem. Even though he still indulges in sexual fantasies, he has shed part of his egoism, evolving from a superficial infatuation to a profound, deeply connective love. And that is why you should do the same. And I don't mean becoming the harem master Sigma Skibidi or some shit, but as weird as the anime might seem, we should always focus and cherish its positive aspects, rather than just criticizing all of its flaws that can still be fixed. High School DxD really was legendary in a lot of ways, and by reading some of the comments under this soundtrack, it made me realize how, despite all of its flaws, it was able to bring a positive change on far more people than you might have imagined. To be honest, the first time I watched High School DxD, I was completely mesmerized by it. Even though there is a lot of fanservice, the story has a great plot and all the characters are very well written. And the music makes this anime really addictive. The different emotional themes and music draw into this wonderful anime. Most people think High School DxD is just some hentai anime, all about fanservice. The ones who say that are either normies or non-cultural weebs. We, men of culture, truly understand the greatness of this anime. And honestly, Rias is my favorite wife of all time, without a shred of doubt. But remember, we don't live in a fucking anime world, buddy, so wake up from reality! To be fair, the age in High School DxD is still quite a lot, and I will probably not recommend it to anyone who's vulnerable to this kind of stuff, or anyone who's not been into anime for a long time, because right at the first second you start watching the anime, you're going to be flashed on by some titties floating around the screen. And honestly, at this point of my life, I'm not sure if I'd like to rewatch High School DxD again. Never mind, I'm fucking lying, ecchi is still my favorite genre. But what I'm sure about is that it has definitely left a legendary legacy to the harem and ecchi genre. Issei is such a unique character that he defies any law of physics. Like, have you ever seen someone that has the ability to talk to female breasts to predict their moves, which basically makes you unbeatable against any female opponents? Nah. Overall, High School DxD is just goated. It doesn't try to do something out of its league, but it absolutely nails everything from the world building, the mythological references, to even interesting male characters like Valley, and obviously the girls with their 18 inches foot and cocks. High School DxD to me was not just any ecchi anime, it was the ecchi anime. Right when I started watching anime, YouTube will just randomly pull up some of these videos titled
Top 10 Best Hentai in 2018.
And you know, sometimes High School DxD will just appear on some of these weird ass videos, and as a teenager, what you gonna do? Are you not going to click on that video? You can call me DJ, you can call me loser, you can call me Blue Archive player, I don't fucking know. But when I hear that re-SOST, you know that's the moment you know shit is going to happen. And if you've been wondering about why this video took so much fucking time, that is because this video is sponsored by Ray Shadow Legend. I just fucked around the entire time, man. You know, you can support my poor ass college student by joining my Discord, you know, follow my socials or whatever the hell you want. Like, subscribe, please. So, yeah, guys, I've also got into fucking university, college, or whatever the fuck the American call that shit. Yeah, I'm also becoming a failure society, if that is not clear enough, you know. Yeah, this is my mouse pad, by the way. Yeah, what the fuck can I show you? Yeah, my beautiful desktop, my loser desktop, yeah, see you guys on my next video in 6 months. Yeah, have fun, good luck, and subscribe, you know.